Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online Series 7 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Yesterday we featured a really interesting team with Physical, Assault Vest, Thundurus, and Weakness Policy Metagross. We'll be playing a couple more games with it today. This was built by the 2017 World Champion Ryota Otsuba, who you can find linked in the description below. The team was really fun yesterday. We had a lot of great games, but Regidrago did not get to come out very frequently, so I'm hoping we get to feature that Pokemon and Crocodile a little bit more in today's episode. That being said, I think the Assault Vest Physical Thundurus is actually a really interesting call for the metagame right now, especially because so many players are opting for Galarian Moltres. So definitely am a fan of the team and looking forward to just, Dynamaxing the Thundurus a little bit more. I think yesterday's episode we had a fair amount of flexibility as well. I think we Dynamaxed Thundurus, Metagross, and Venusaur, so you got the whole kind of, arrangement, and that kind of goes to show, the flexibility that the team has. So let's get into the first game of today's episode. As always, if you enjoy, please show your support by leaving a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Question of the day, I want to know what Pokemon you wish was more viable in VGC or just in Pokemon in general. Let me know in the comments below. So, Ferrothorn, Landorus, Metagross, Talonflame, Thundurus, and Togekiss. They also have Thundurus and Metagross, but Talonflame has Tailwind here, which is scary. That's actually very scary. Because, I want to just go with my Thundurus and my Metagross here, because both of these are good Dynamax threats. I guess, should my opponent lead Talonflame, you don't have that much offensive pressure. So, what do I want in the back? Actually, Torkoal's really good here, I think. Because it's max HP, max defense. I'm just sad because I was just saying how I wanted to bring Crocodile and Regidrago, and I feel like it's not the best matchup for them here. Regidrago is going up against two Steel types and a Togekiss. And Crocodile can intimidate the Metagross. We probably don't want to intimidate the Thundurus because it's most likely Defiant, so I think I will just go with Torkoal Venusaur. I am impressed at how consistent the Thundurus Metagross Torkoal Venusaur combination is, but like I mentioned yesterday, Regidrago and Crocodile in this team, mainly Regidrago, but also Crocodile to an extent, they come out a lot less frequently because, if you're bringing Thundurus, you normally want Metagross, and if you're bringing Torkoal, you normally want Venusaur as well, so if you're giving up one of those, it's weird to bring the other, right? But it's going to be Talonflame and Metagross. So this is interesting because if I Brutal Swing, I risk activating a potential weakness policy from my opponent's end. I think for my opponent's end, it's probably just going to be Tailwind turn 1 and either max Hailstorm into the Thundurus or max Quake into Metagross. Quake would actually be kind of surprising now that I think about it. So this is not ideal. Tailwind is a problem. I'm leaning towards switching Thundurus out into Torkoal to take a potential Hailstorm. Question is, do I think my opponent will activate a weakness policy here on my end? Honestly, the play I'm leaning towards is switching out into Torkoal and then going for a max Steel Spike. The only risk here is if they end up going for max Quake onto my Metagross. But I'm reading that my opponent doesn't want to activate my weakness policy, because if you activate my policy, I can just return KO you, right? I guess they could Flare Blitz here, right? And also by switching at Metagross, I risk taking up damage from the Talonflame the subsequent turn, but this is physically defensive Torkoal, max HP, max defense. You guys saw how bulky it was in yesterday's episode. It was able to take that Glastrier attack with no problem. So, yeah, we Dynamax first. This Metagross is pretty speedy, so that's not super surprising, but I think Tailwind will go up from my opponent's end. Ideally, it's Hailstorm into Talonflame, or sorry, Hailstorm into Torkoal, and Tailwind. They could have greeted and just gone Will-O-Wisp, or if they have Will-O-Wisp here on Talonflame, that's not super common, but that would be bad. I was going to say, sorry, they could have greeted and gone for Flare Blitz, which would actually be really bad for us here. I guess it would activate our weakness policy though, but we would take a lot of damage. So let's see what they up for. They actually do have Will-O-Wisp, but they went for it onto the Thundurus slot. Whoa, okay. So we get the Steel Spike off. Pretty good damage there. Over 50%. So they didn't Tailwind and they were expecting Thundurus to max. Very interesting. Do they Hailstorm or Quake here? They go for their own Steel Spike. Okay. Onto my Metagross for, what was that? 35 damage total? Yeah. Okay, I mean, I'll take it. Especially because they actually didn't Will-O-Wisp into Metagross. That is interesting. I want to yawn here into the Metagross and honestly Max Guard here. Because, like, with the defense boost, I'm definitely surviving a double up from Talonflame and Metagross. Even if you Brave Bird Max Quake me, we should be fine. I don't want to get burnt this turn. And the yawn onto Metagross... actually, this may have been a turn to just have gone for another Steel Spike, to be honest. Yeah, they do go for the Will-O-Wisp. Because I'm not KOing Talonflame anyway, so, like, what good does this really do me? Okay, they commit the Max Hailstorm here onto Torkoal, but that's fine. Yeah, that did 17 damage total. So my opponent is Dynamax Metagross to get, like, what? Like 70 damage combined total so far. Like, I'll take that. So we get the Yawn off, which is nice. Metagross is now guaranteed to fall asleep after the subsequent turn, so you have to wonder whether it wants to switch out or not. It's Goggles Talonflame as well. Very interesting. Okay. That's still fine. I mean... I think it's likely my opponent just goes for Will-O-Wisp on a Metagross, so I could even considering switching out here, but I think we just suck it up. I'm down to go Burning Jealousy. I mean, I think I still want to Steel Spike Talonflame. The fear is, I mean, if I Burning Jealousy Metagross, I will activate a Weakness Policy here. The odds of them getting a stat boost, what are the odds of that? Oh, if I burn them, I don't put them to sleep. Never mind. So let's not do that. Okay, let's go Body Press into Metagross then, and just go for a... I kind of want to go for another Steel Spike onto Talonflame. Like, getting these Pokemon to +2 defense looks very good against my opponent's team in the end game here. So, like, even though it's probably Will-O-Wisp into Metagross, yeah, like, and it'll survive a Steel Spike, I don't really mind that too much, especially because, assuming you're Weakness Policy Metagross, you should fall asleep after this turn. Okay, I was thinking maybe I could have doubled up onto the Talonflame, but... Like, I'd rather just get the defense boost right now, right? And get a little bit of guaranteed damage off. They just go for another Hailstorm, so... I feel like the matches with this team have been interesting, where, like... yesterday, for example, we had that Thundurus versus Moltres matchup, where it's like neither of us wanted to attack into, like, the main threat on the opposing side, because of fear of activating a Weakness Policy, which is kind of funny to me. So Tailwind has still not gone up. Metagross should fall asleep here, unless it's Lumberry, which I guess could be a possibility, but given that there's a Thundurus on the team, I'd highly expect it to be Weakness Policy. Yeah. Okay. So I think, like, Tailwind's decently likely to go up, and I am on a timer, obviously, with the Metagross waking up eventually. I'm at +2 defense with both of these, which is pretty good. It's very good, actually. So, like, I could just go Body Press into Metagross this turn and Ice Punch into Talonflame. That actually feels okay to me, because I think Venusaur on my side is a pretty good late-game sweeper. This is an interesting Talonflame set, too. It looks pretty bulky. Safety Goggles, Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, presumably Tailwind, which means you're not even running one of Brave Bird or Flare Blitz. Yeah, look how well it takes that Ice Punch. Another one will pick up the knockout finally, but... Get the Body Press off here. Really good damage, actually. I mean, this is max defense Torkoal, so... Actually puts in work. Okay. I mean, you Tailwind now for sure, right? I'd be really surprised if you didn't. So I could switch Torkoal out. I mean, if I stay in here, my berry will activate. Plus, I have the defense boost, actually, so I'm more inclined to stay in right now. So I'm down to Body Press and just Ice Punch into Talonflame. If my opponent does not get an early Wake Up this game, it would be really difficult for them, I think. Yeah, so they finally Tailwind, which I think is a good play. With the defense boosts, I'm not that worried about stalling out Tailwind. They do stay asleep for another turn. The awkward thing about Metagross here is, like, if they ended up going for Earthquake, they would have activated a Weakness Policy, right? Plus, I have +2 defense on both of these, so I'm really not taking much damage right now. Body Press should be a KO after this subsequent turn. Oh, wow. That was almost just a knockout by itself. Metagross hanging on here is actually good for us, because if it fainted, it would have given my opponent a free switch in. This is why I wanted to stay in with Torkoal. I wanted my Citrus Berry to get activated as well. So, Metagross mirror matches are really interesting because neither of you want to, like, activate the opposing Weakness Policy. I'm just glad that the Talonflame did not Will-O-Wisp our Metagross turn 1. But I even mentioned the Will-O-Wisp. It's not something you see super often because, like, obviously Talonflames like Flare Blitz, Tailwind, Brave Bird, Taunt, Protect, sometimes even. They do have Togekiss in the back. Okay. That could be a problem. Do you Air Slash here, or do you... I think we should switch the Torkoal... Oh, yeah, I can't even yawn here. So I think the right play is to switch into Thundurus. But I think it's likely, actually, Metagross targets the Torkoal with an Ice Punch. I could just Burning Jealousy Iron Head here. That's actually what I'm leaning towards here. Because I really don't want to switch in Thundurus. Thundurus walls his Togekiss, but they go for Heat Wave. Okay. It's enough for a KO. There's a crit on Torkoal, but not on Metagross, so okay. Metagross manages to wake up, goes for EQ. So the thing is, I can switch in Thundurus now, but if I had switched Torkoal out this last turn, it'd be really good for us. Like, I'll get the KO onto Metagross. Togekiss will take a little bit of chip as well, but the big question is basically, what is my opponent's last Pokemon? I've got Life Orb Sludge Bomb from the Venusaur waiting for my opponent in the back. So the play I'm leaning towards here is probably switch into Venu, and then hard switch Torkoal out into Thundurus. If I bring out Thundurus right now and they bring out a Landorus, though, Defiant may go off. But then you could just Rock Slide. Actually, I don't think you would be able to KO Thundurus, but then the thing is the Venu switching is too obvious, right? So I think we actually have to go Venu here, switch Torkoal out. Ooh, it's Ferrothorn. Okay, that's very good for us. Because Torkoal should win against the Ferrothorn in this late game. So I think I'm just going to switch out into Thundurus right now and protect. However, the scary thing is Ferrothorn can wall me pretty hard outside of Torkoal, right? I don't do damage with Venu or... Well, I have Earth Power, so I shouldn't say don't do any damage into it. I don't know how much Life Orb Sludge Bomb does in a Togekiss. Given that it crit the Torkoal and had Life Orb, I'm willing to bet that it's just crit Kiss. So this is a really obvious play, but I think I still make it. Okay, they just go Heat Wave, that's fine. They go Body Press, that's also fine. Yeah. Because, like, Thundurus now... I have two possibilities here. I could go Thundurus into Torkoal and just Sludge Bomb Togekiss. I don't know if that's enough for a KO, or the alternative is just Wild Charge. Wild Charge into Togekiss and switch Venu out into Torkoal. I think that's pretty safe, to be honest. Yeah, I like that play, actually. I'm going to go for it. The Ferrothorn endgame could be scary to deal with, though, but if it's Body Press, you're most likely Iron Defense, Leech Seed, Protect, so I don't think you can actually really do damage into Venusaur here. I guess the other question is whether or not Wild Charge one-shots Togekiss. I just don't know if Sludge Bomb's a one-hit KO there. I wonder if Heat Wave KOs... If you crit Torkoal here, Heat Wave actually might KO us, which would be bad. Ooh, they Protect. I actually don't think that Protect is too bad for us. Unless they went Body Press into Torkoal. That'd be an insanely good read on their end. Okay, there's Body Press. Yeah, it goes into Thundurus. Okay. Okay. Tailwind peters out. So I think we're good now. Because I'm just going to go Wild Charge into the Togekiss and Protect here. I think that's always the play. Because then we get the free switch it into Venusaur. So this is definitely offensive Togekiss. If you have Protect Heat Wave, you probably have Air Slash, Dazzling Gleam, and your Scope Lens max special attack. And I don't know if you're going to be max speed or maybe have some more HP investment. But I wonder if Wild Charge can one-shot here. That'd be huge. Okay, Thundurus gets the Wild Charge off, and that's a one-hit KO. Beautiful. Okay. So that's good. We take Chip. And there's Body Press into Torkoal. Yeah. Okay. I think it's always going to be Body Press into the Torkoal slot. So, let's see. A Fly. I think we should just maximize damage up. Like, here's the thing. Ferrothorn could theoretically still pull this off if Body Press KOs the Torkoal here. I don't know if it does or not. We'll see. I don't want to switch in Venu, though. I want the free switch in, so I think we actually just go for Wild Charge and Burning Jealousy. Yeah. Okay. We should Fade from the Wild Charge here. Pretty good damage. I'll take it. I don't know the item on that. That's the only tough thing here. Okay. Yep, we Fade from Recoil, so we get the free switch in. They go for Body Press. I would think Torkoal survives this. Okay. Nice job, Torkoal. Now we get the single target Burning Jealousy, and that should be game. Nice. Sun is still really viable in Series 7. Like, I love the Torkoal-Venusaur combination on this team. So, as sad as I am because we couldn't bring the Regidrago or the Crocodile, I think it was the right decision. But yeah, the Metagross versus Metagross matchup was really interesting because, like, neither of us wanted to activate the weakness policy. But I would say it favored us more because our Torkoal was really, really good in this matchup. I'm curious about the team here. Lefties, yeah, Iron Defense. So, like, this didn't have very much for the Venusaur. I think if my opponent went for an Iron Defense earlier, I might have been in some trouble. Expert Belt Landers, that's really interesting. Yep, so it looks like it's Policy Metagross. Goggles, Talonflame, yep. So no Flare Blitz, which is interesting. Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, and Tailwind with Goggles, so more utility-oriented. No, it's just max speed, max attack. Honestly, I looked a little bit bulkier. They were also Physical Thundurus. No Brutal Swing here, though, which is interesting. Life Orb. Fly, Wild Charge, Protect is standard, and then normally you have a filler move, and Protect here, or Giga Impact is pretty cool. And then, yeah, it was Crit Kiss, max speed, with Dazzle, Air Slash, Protect, Heat Wave. So Crit Kiss is pretty interesting. Obviously, it was very common earlier on in VGC 2020. And Togekiss in general has fallen off a little bit right now because you have a lot of Steel types, right? But the thing about Crit Kiss is that it can actually do pretty good damage into the Steel types, especially like something like Kartana. If you like Max Airstream before Kartana is able to Dynamax, you can just one-shot it with Max Flare. And other Steel types are like, what, Metagross, Celesteela. Well, you at least have Max Flare, and that can probably 2-hit KO, especially if you're getting the crits in your favor. So, yeah. But definitely an interesting battle there. And I think with this team, what you basically force is your opponent to play more defensively than they would like. And they can't use their Dynamax nearly as effectively because out of fear of activating Defiant, for example. Glastrier and Spectrier, double horse here. Okay, that's cool. Thundurus, Rillaboom, Urshifu, Dusclops to round things out. Okay, well, they don't have a Dragon Resist, so I do think this might be a Regidrago game, and I think Crocodile with Taunt is valuable here, but I don't want to lead it to activate a Defiant. That would be scary. This one's interesting. Like, I feel like I could bring all of my Pokemon, and that's always both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it means, like, you have so much flexibility, but it's a bad thing because it, like, just puts on the pressure of, like, did I actually bring the right Pokemon into the matchup? I'm leaning towards Thundurus Metagross here still because I think Thundurus does really good damage. And once again, the flexibility of Dynamaxing either of these is really nice. I just want to bring Regidrago so badly, man. Like, Draco Meteor here puts in work. The Intimidate from Crocodile really is not that valuable, so I don't know if I bring Crocodile. Which leaves me in an awkward spot then. It's like, do I bring Venusaur or Torkoal? I'm thinking Torkoal because then if my opponent goes Trick Room, I can bring in Torkoal. Actually, we learned from yesterday's episode that we're not meant to beat Torkoal. So, I mean, the upside is we outspeed Glastrier pre-Trick Room, but if Trick Room goes up, that's bad. But if you guys remember from yesterday's episode, we took a Max Quake from Glastrier at like 50%. Like, this Torkoal's max HP, max defense. So, it takes these attacks really well. Spectre is actually pretty scary. But that's why I wanted to lead Thundurus, because I can just Dynamax Thundurus and Airstream. They're going to go Rillaboom Thundurus. Okay, this is hard walled by Metagross. Now we have the interesting decision to make. Who do I max here? I really want to... I think it's a Max Thundurus kind of game, honestly. It's like... These scenarios are always so frustrating. It's like, if you call it correctly, you're so far ahead. But if you call it incorrectly, like, it's frustrating. Because, like, if you just, switched up the Dynamaxes, you'd be in such a big lead. Because, like, I could just Dynamax Metagross and Hailstorm. The downside of Dynamaxing Metagross in this match, though, is that a Dynamax Spectrier could come out. So I think it's probably more consistent to just Dynamax my Thundurus, go for a Max Airstream onto Rillaboom. Actually, why did my opponent bring Rillaboom here? I feel like it's so useless against us. I mean, I really want a Brutal Swing, but I can also just see the Rillaboom going for Fake Out right now onto Thundurus. So I'm down to just Max Airstream Rillaboom. Your, like, Weakness Policy Thundurus is not really a thing, and if it is here, then so be it. Like, obviously, Weakness Policy is viable on any Pokemon in this format, so they Dynamax Thundurus as well, which I'm fine with. Especially if they're not Max Airstreaming this first turn, this means I outspeed them next turn. And then I can combo that with my own Max Airstream. Like, I feel like if I'm my opponent, I don't want the Weakness Policy to go off, so I Fake Out Max Lightning into Thundurus right now. And by Dynamaxing myself, I not only ignore the Fake Out, I KO Rillaboom, and I get Ice Punch damage onto Thundurus. All of that, which is good for us. So once again, this is the beauty of the Thundurus Metagross lead. Like, if you lead Tornadus Metagross, for example, Tornadus is never Dynamaxing. You know exactly what setup is coming your way. But with Thundurus Metagross, the flexibility, the fact that we can even decide and, like, you know, debate between who to Dynamax here, I think is really cool. Wow, they just went for Grassy Glide onto Metagross. Okay, that didn't... Are they going for Max Lightning onto that slot? I wonder if that's enough for a KO. Because it definitely wouldn't have been a KO if I Dynamax Metagross. So this is what I mean. It's like, oh, if I just Dynamax Metagross, we'd be in such good shape. But with the Speed Boost, I think at least regardless, we should get the Ice Punch off before Metagross faints if a Max Lightning is indeed going into that slot. But honestly, I'm surprised to see the Glide there. That's so much damage. Wow. And they go for Max Airstream. Okay. On to Thundurus. They glided onto... I don't know. I feel like if I just went Brutal Swing Max Hailstorm turn 1 onto Thundurus, they just lose. So that's kind of surprising to me. Like they didn't even try to go for a Fake Out or double up onto Metagross. But I think it works out in our favor still. We do Speed Type with Thundurus, but that's not surprising. Like, Thundurus in this format basically is almost always max speed, at least right now. Urshifu comes out. Okay. Torkoal, Regidrago in the back. Like, here's the thing. If I win a speed tie here, I just win the game. But if I lose, what happens? I'm always clicking Max Airstream here. And I think I'm always targeting the Urshifu. The thing is, what do I want to do here with the Metagross? I could switch out here, but I feel like Torkoal is actually a very good Pokemon to have in this late game. So even if I lose the speed tie here and my opponent doubles up to KO the Metagross, it's really not the end of the world. And if we win the speed tie, I actually think we just win the game right now. Oh, they actually opt for Sucker Punch onto Thundurus. But we win the speed tie. That indicates to me they're going Max Lightning then, maybe? Okay, they are Sash Urshifu. I actually didn't think about the option of them Sucker Punching Metagross, which maybe I should have. I for some reason, had just, like, in my head was like, they're definitely going to go Max Lightning here. Or, sorry, Wicked Blow into Metagross. They are still faster. Okay, they doubled up onto Thundurus. Is that a KO? It is. Okay, that may be a problem. It may be a problem because the Thundurus still outspeeds my Metagross despite us getting the speed boost. That's just, you know, what happens when you have such a slow base speed Pokemon relative to a big Dynamax threat like Metagross. Or sorry, like Thundurus. I think then the better play there would have been to Airstream Ice Punch Thundurus and just guarantee the knockout onto that slot. Yeah. Can't help but think I may have misplayed this game a little bit then. I think I like Torkoal as the last one. I can go Torkoal, Protect Metagross, and Burning Jealousy. Yawn is still on the table against Thundurus because Thundurus isn't grounded. Oh god, it's Spectrier. I should have doubled up onto Thundurus there. My only fear of doubling up onto Thundurus is that they made the big brain play of max guarding, but I don't think they ever max guard in that position, honestly, so yeah. Okay, we have Regidrago in the back. This thing does damage, but can I pick up a knockout this turn is the question. Honestly, I think the answer is no. Man. I mean, I can Burning Jealousy. I don't even want to... I could Protect here, but... What if I double Protect? If I double Protect, what does my opponent go for? You probably Shadow Ball into Metagross, Max Lightning into the Torkoal. I think we do double Protect, just because I'm not doing any damage to the Thundurus right now anyway, so at least I stall out your Dynamax. But, I should have doubled up onto the Thundurus there. Yeah, I think mainly I was expecting Metagross to outspeed the opposing Thundurus. That's just a calc I should know. Airstream into Torkoal. The thing is, we're very defensive Torkoal, right? So now you don't do much damage the subsequent turn. I could even switch Metagross out, but that only works if I'm KOing Spectrier, so I don't think it's worth it. And they went Shadow Ball. So I could have gone Burning Jealousy there. I would have gotten a double burn, but I don't know if that was worth it. Because I think what I aim for now is basically Regidrago. Like here, I'm going to Burning Jealousy, I think. My only fear now is if Thundurus could Protect and Spectrier could Shadow Ball into Torkoal. How do I even get around that play? I don't think I have much around that. I don't think Iron Head KO Spectre either. I don't know. I think if they protect Thundurus here, we probably lose. Yeah. This is what I mean by, like, like, it's frustrating if I feel like I don't get the right call on turn 1, because if you get the right call, you have such an early advantage. I don't regret Dynamaxing Thundurus in this match, but I guess, yeah, well, they had Spectre in the back, so if I Dynamax Metagross Spectre, yeah, they protect, so good play. I mean, at best, I could have Iron-Headed Spectre there. I'm going to Shadow Ball into the Metagross. Okay, that actually maybe gives us a chance. And it comes down to how bulky you are. It comes down to who you target with Spectre this next turn, I think. Well, I don't know if Burning Jealousy is actually even a 2-hit KO. Like, we don't have any special attack investments, so probably not, to be honest. Although we will get the burn here. Ooh, with the burn? Oh, that was a crit, actually, so we're definitely not doing enough. Okay, I've got Regidrago in the back. Basically, this turn boils down to, can I predict who the Spectre targets correctly? The Regidrago is the obvious target. And for that reason, I want to flip it. I win this game if it's a 2v1, basically, right? So Regidrago is the obvious target, so I kind of want to just... These situations are always so scary. If I'm my opponent, who am I predicting? I would Shadow Ball Regidrago, honestly. Okay. It's so obvious, the Burning Jealousy Protect, but this is one of the scenarios where it's just the 50-50 on who Spectre targets. Okay, they go Wild Charge into the Torkoal. I mean, that's fine. You take Chip. Okay, who did they target? Nice! Okay, so the obvious target ends up working out for us. And I think actually we win now. Get the Burning Jealousy off. Unless Thunder survives this, but yeah, it does not. Woof! Wow, that was a crazy game. I mean, I don't think Spectre can pick up a double KO now, so we just go Burning Jealousy, and I think Dragon Energy's still here. Yeah. Burning Jealousy, and I don't want to miss, right? Like, burn plus any damage plus protect is a guaranteed KO, so let's not risk a miss. Yeah, Spectre just goes for Shadow Ball. I bet this one-shots though, right? Oh, wow. I didn't think Regidrago would survive that, to be honest. I wonder if this KOs. Okay, just pick up the knockout. Good job, Regidrago. So, because it survives there, then the correct play was to just attack with Regidrago in the end here. I just don't know my Spectre damage calcs at all. Or my Regidrago calcs, I guess I should say. But I'm glad it could come out and show how bulky it is. I mean, its HP stat is what, like base 200? So, part of me was expecting Choice Specs Spectre, which was... I also think, you know, we got the crit there, which was pretty fortunate. I could have just Iron-Headed into Spectre, and if we Iron-Headed... I don't think the crit actually really ended up mattering, to be honest. Because, like, we were going to get enough damage where Burn would finish off the game anyway, plus Spectre surviving means my opponent didn't really have much of an out there. But I didn't know that at the time, so, yeah. What could I have done better? There was a lot. Wow, this is a cool team. Araquanid, Zapdos, Suicune, Hitmontop, Thundurus, Incarnate... Or sorry, Therian and Mimikyu. Araquanid is the big, like, I'm just like, whoa. Double water, double electric. They don't have a Dragon Resist. Or sorry, they have Mimikyu. But outside of Mimikyu, they don't have a Dragon Resist or Immune. I really like Thundurus Metagross again. Like, I know we've been leading that so much with this team. Crocodile just doesn't make sense in this matchup either. I shouldn't say it doesn't make sense. It helps against... The thing is, if you go Mimikyu, I can Thundurus Metagross, just Brutal Swing, Iron Head. Or Steel Spike. So that's pretty safe. Torkoal Venus are pretty easy, too, to have in the back. I actually think Regidrago can put in work here, though, because I don't think it feigns from any attacks, and Dragon Energy or Draco Meteor does a lot here. So Metagross, Thundurus, Regidrago... Yeah, I think the thing about this Crocodile is it normally comes out against like Dusclopses or Porygon 2s or Cresselias, but we didn't really go up against any of those in the last 2 episodes, so it's just not a great day for Crocodile, unfortunately, but the option of it is still nice to have. So we're doing Torkoal and Venu here. I think I like Venu more for damage output, mainly because my opponent's team is more on the special side than physical. Like Zapdos, Suicune, Thundurus are all going to be most likely special. I guess you could be physical Thundurus Therian as well, but I'd be surprised. Yeah. Still thinking about that last match. I don't know. I think it's the right decision to Dynamax the Thundurus, because if my opponent goes Fake Out Max Lightning onto my Thundurus turn 1, it's doomed for us. They go Mimikyu Suicune. This is scary. For a bunch of reasons. You could have Will-O-Wisp on Mimikyu. You could even Phantom Force turn 1. Suicune can Tailwind here. Or you could Trick Room. So there's a lot at stake right now. The easiest play to make probably here would be to Brutal Swing and Max Steel Spike into the Mimikyu. Because even if you Will-O-Wisp me, then I still get the knockout and I still am at neutral attack, so it's not that bad. Worst case is what? Will-O-Wisp from Mimikyu onto Metagross, Tailwind from Suicune. I came very close to Dynamaxing Thundurus here, because we could just max Lightning Suicune, but Suicunes are really bulky. Like, max HP, max defense isn't something that's, like, super unheard of. So if my opponent has that, then I don't even know if I KO with max Lightning, and then it's really bad for us. So at least with this, like, we guarantee the KO onto Mimikyu if they're not Babiri Berry. I guess Babiri could be a thing, so I don't know. Okay. Well, they don't Dynamax or Switch, but that's not really surprising. Given that, I think it's probably Tailwind turn 1 for Suicune. I don't see what else Suicune would be doing here. I guess you could Scald Metagross or Ice Beam, but I think it should be Tailwind coming out from it. Oh, looks like Mimikyu is slower, or they were trying to go for Trick Room, one of the two. Okay, I'll take that. I will take that. We get a KO there. And we're at +2, so no burn. And if they don't Scald into Metagross, then I think it's probably Tailwind here, right? Calm Mind. Wow. Calm Mind Suicune. That reminds me of like Crocoon way back in the day. Yeah, like Calm Mind, Rest. That's a throwback. It's not something you see very often in VGC, to be honest. Araquanid. Okay. I'm not really that worried about Araquanid, though, am I? Like, why don't I just Wild Charge here into Suicune? I already have a defense boost, too, so I'm down to just Max Quake Suicune. Araquanid could be special. The only thing I don't want to do is if my opponent's actually, like, Weakness Policy at Araquanid, I don't want to activate a Weakness Policy from Thundurus right now, because, like, I think that probably Dynamaxes here, to be honest, but it's not really that big of a threat, especially against my Metagross, which is pretty safe right now. Plus, I still don't want Tailwind to go up from Suicune's end. I guess Suicune could Dynamax and Max. But, like, the thing is that that special defense boost doesn't help it at all, so, like, I don't really care, I think. Honestly, that was the ideal turn 1. Like, we got a free knockout, we got our policy up, and my opponent didn't get any means of speed control up as well. So, yeah, it is going to be the big spider coming out here. That is not a Pokemon I've actually gone up against in Series 7 at all, so pretty interesting to see my opponent using it here. Okay. Yeah, they don't have Protect here. It's tough to fit Protect onto a Suicune set like that. Good damage from Wild Charge. If you're not Citrus, Max Quick should definitely KO. Nice. I could have gone Steel Spike there, but I was expecting a Berry. And I think even if you do have Citrus, I don't know if you can survive a +2 Max Quake with Citrus. So now we're at +1 Spadef, +1 defense. But Araquanid really shouldn't do much damage into Metagross, but obviously it will do a lot into Thundurus. Maybe even pick up a KO. Normally you run Bug, Water, Protect, and then a 4th filler move. So just going for Geyser here. Yep. Okay, onto Thundurus. Can that one-shot us? It does. Okay, well, what's in the back? We got rid of Mimikyu, so there's no Regidrago counter anymore. So I think we can actually bring in Regidrago here. I like that, because, like, Venusaur's not doing much for us. Like, we want to stall out the Dynamax from my opponent's end. So bring out Regidrago. They bring out Thundurus. That's fine by me. Thundurus is pretty hard walled by Regidrago. And Metagross, actually. So I'm down to just Dragon Energy here, and I think Hailstorm into the Thundurus slot. Like, I always want a Hailstorm here to change the weather, because I don't want Rain and Bee up. So that reduces Araquanid's damage output. Even if Thundurus goes for damage on the Regidrago, like, It means if you're targeting Regidrago with Thundurus, it means you're not protecting, which means Hailstorm one-shots Thundurus. If you are protecting here, then I get a really powerful Dragon Energy off against Araquanid, and I still change the weather as well. I guess what could be interesting here is if it is weakness policy Araquanid and Thundurus like procs the weakness policy here, but that would be like Thundurus is really offensive, so it would do a fair amount of damage to their own Araquanid. So let's see if they protect here. Nope, they just go for Dark Pulse. Okay. Regidrago should take that pretty well. Nice, at around 60%. We get the Dragon Energy off that. Almost one-shots Thundurus. Oh my gosh. And we get the Hailstorm off, more importantly. Nice. Okay, Regidrago is actually pretty decent for us today. And this is what I mean, right? In the matchups where your opponent does not have a ton of fairies or steals, like, it's pretty bulky. You can put in work. And I actually underestimated in that last game where it was bulkier than I expected it to be, right? So, they go for a Geyser here, but this is definitely not KOing either Pokemon. You probably need a crit Metagross for a KO, but it's actually targeting Regidrago. Actually, almost picks up the KO, impressively enough. But, yeah. Without Hail, not enough to finish it off. And we have Venu in the back. My Dynamax ends, which is fine. I think here we can just go Draco Meteor into the Araquanid, go for a... I mean, it resists all of these, let's just go for Iron Head. And then Venusaur can just come in and Life Orb Sludge Bomb for a KO, so I think we should be good. But Regidrago, being able to take the double up... Look how much damage Draco Meteor does! The thing about Regidrago, like, we didn't really bring it out in games where we could lead it. Araquanid actually hangs on with a bit, but that's fine. It's going to be Geyser coming out here. I hope it goes into Metagross so we can get one last attack off with Regidrago. That'd be cool. It does go into Metagross. Nice. I think the main thing that helped us in this game, though, is that my opponent did not get a means of speed control up. Like I said, going into this, I was worried about Tailwind or Trick Room, and neither of that happened turn 1. So the lack of either going up meant that we could just really dominate through with Metagross. And that's the thing. Once again, if you play incorrectly against the Thundurus Metagross lead, like, it's just very hard to come back from. I'm going to go Dragon Energy and just protect here. Just because I want to see the Dragon Energy, I don't want Regidrago to get the KO. I'm glad we could bring Regidrago out a bunch today, though. Was it the MVP of the games? No, but is it just the bulky Pokemon that puts on a lot of offensive pressure? Absolutely. And the other cool thing is, you know, like, people normally expected to just use Dragon Energy. That alone does a lot, right? I mean, that did 90% to a Thundurus when we were at like 65%, so that's already pretty good. But Draco Meteor does so much damage in one-shots actually most like non-Dynamax Pokemon that don't resist it. So the fact you can just one-shot these big Pokemon, I think, is really, really nuts as well. So yeah, that was a fun episode. I'm glad we got to bring Regidrago out a bunch. I'm sad Crocodile didn't really come out, but the last like 2 episodes we just did not really run into the right matchups. Crocodile, I think, is a lot more situational, and you basically want to bring it out against the Trick Room teams, specifically Pokemon like Dusclops, Cresselia, Porygon 2, for example, because you can taunt them, and you can also do some good damage with Darkest Lariat, but the matchups today just felt like it was safer to go with what we did end up bringing, so yeah. That's going to be it for this one. Glad to get a couple of games in with Regidrago, and definitely a fun Pokemon to use. Like, I think it overall has a little bit less impact than Regieleki, which, you know, can come out very frequently and disrupt, but Regidrago is one of those Pokemon that, in the right games, can put in so much work, and, you know, its ability to take that +1 Shadow Ball from Spectrier, and the ability to just do so much damage with Dragon's Energy, even after taking Chip, is definitely impressive. So, thank you as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to answer the question of the day, and I will see you guys next time. Alright, peace.